In her presentation, she mentioned a few words. She said consciousness, treachery, distraction. She also said imaginary fantasy. Now I'm going to keep it brief, but I want to share with you something my master teacher, Nasig Ram of the Hebrew Israelites, shared with us yesterday in class. And I thought it was so important that I should bring it up. I haven't seen the movie, but I am really excited about it, as we all are. We're very excited. I know this is just the beginning, okay? But let's look at this movie. It's imaginary. Can you go to that land that he's talking about? No. It's all fantasy. And this is what Hollywood is, fantasy. Who wrote the story? It wasn't us. Okay? Who is financing it? It wasn't us. So let's keep that in mind. And we have to be conscious and aware now when we see things, okay? Especially with our people. And you know, as she said, the treachery and the distraction, okay, that they perpetrated on us. So Nasig mentioned this is just a distraction. Why? Because in real life, what is happening, let's look at what Trump is doing with the circuit courts, the judicial system from the bottom up. Whenever we wanted justice, the first thing we would do is go to the courts, right? But now he's stacking every level of the courts so that we have nowhere to go. But this is not the first time, because it happened during Reconstruction. So we have to be conscious if this is not a distraction. We cannot be distracted by this imaginary, fantasy movie. And I hope that this movie will generate a movie based on our real history. Because our ancient history, modern day history, we have many characters and stories that are real. We have so many people who are real that they can make films on and teach us and guide us and make money. So I think we're hungry to see us in positive images, okay? So let's just keep this in mind. Let's be conscious and aware so that it doesn't really distract us. And the next movie should be based on fact. Let's go into our heroes and sheroes and write the stories that they've already written. Thank you.
May I respond to that?
Yeah, you can.
The writer,
thank you.
Michael B.
Thank you.
Jordan, I think he's a black man.
Right.
And also, his next attempt at a movie will be Mansa Musa. And we know that's a real...
Mansa, that is gratifying.
That's to let you know that that is the direction that they're going.
That
so I just want to know, I agree with you, know, with the fantasy part, but everything has everything's a concept before it becomes a reality.
Absolutely.
So maybe this will plant some seeds in the minds of people. That's all.
It already has. It already has.
Right.
If you
It's inevitable.
have recognized the fact that we as a people have an oral history, we have a written history too, but we tell our cosmology through story. So it's easier for us to remember through quote unquote fantasy stories. It's the story of Osir and Set. It's the story that we have told ourselves in various different forms throughout time. And as the brother said, if we can't conceive it through imagination and fantasy, then it can't be so, because it already starts in the mind. And where does imagination and fantasy come from? From our meditation, from our divine connection with the Most High, who speaks to us in all ways, in all forms, if we are able to listen. It's important to me to just be able to receive truth however it comes, okay? And to recognize that we could get caught up with all kind of illusions. But if it's something that's going to inspire us toward the good, then I'm all for it. I don't care if it comes through a crackhead. I don't care if it comes from me stubbing my toe on a rock The rock is teaching me the lesson to watch my step. Because I listen to spirit. I listen to how the Most High speaks to us. And the Most High may speak to us in Hebrew. The Most High may speak to us in Sanskrit. The Most High may speak to us through rap. How are we open to listen to the words of the Most High? Because in fact, where is it that the Most High is not? And it doesn't matter what we call the Most High. And I'm not getting into that argument, but to just simply say that if the Most High is truly as omnipotent as we say the Most High is, then the Most High is truly more vast than we can even conceive of. So why wouldn't the divine intelligence that has ordered all of this speak to us in a way that we can all get it, however we need to get it, whenever we're able to receive it. And if some white folks want to take it upon themselves to deal with reparations through a movie, I'm all for it. And because of the fact that they showed so many different aspects of our culture in that movie. And I say see it several times because it's a study. It's a study. You see all these different aspects, right? And they did a lot of research. I think it's an excellent opportunity for us to be inspired, to be creative. It's a way to speak to our youth who don't want to hear none of that old stuff. I don't care how much we try to tell them. If they can't relate to it, they weren't there. They don't know about slavery like that. We could talk all day till we blue in the face. But they can't really relate to it because they have not experienced that level of racism. And on the word nigga, I mean, that just means nigga, kings, queen. I mean, we could, in the Shawnee language, nigga is grandmother. I mean, we could find the word throughout history. It doesn't have to be just how somebody gave it to us.
Teach, sister, teach.
We are everywhere. The whole world is Africa. The reggae group Black Uhuru gave us that song. If you don't know it, look it up. In the 90s. The whole world is Africa. And I embrace the wholeness of this planet as mine. Every aspect of it as mine. And if I'm truly the mother of creation, then all my children, the rejects and the most prized, are mine. And it's my responsibility to nurture them and bring them back to center. Okay, and that's all I'm saying. I think we could be so daggone critical of everything. At what point do we celebrate something that's actually good?
Well, it wasn't meant to be hypercritical. It's just let us be conscious and aware. But like you said, how we use this in the future going forward. That's what's important, and I thank you for that. I agree with everything that you said.
And there is one thing in there that I do want to say that is very concerning to me, because you're right about how they do slip stuff in. Right. For those who haven't seen it, and for those who have, there is an aspect in there where they're trying to say the CIA is our friend, and we know they're not.
Exactly. Yeah, raise your hand if you have not seen the movie.
Okay, so all I'm saying is there is a part in there where that can be seen as being subliminal or covert or overt. However, but if you have eyes to see, you know, oh, well, wait a minute,
Always
but I feel like
the source.
that is the only reason why the movie was allowed to be put out to begin with.
That's what I mean.
Because it's so powerful
to
inspire our people to revolution on all kind of levels. They have to have something in there to calm us the F down. About to get me riled up for real.
That's why I say,
and I'm just saying, we just got to be mindful across the board. But overall, it's a very powerful. I mean, I've seen it twice, and I'm gonna see it again because it's a study. It's a study, you know, in how we can take the media and utilize it to our advantage, because it's here. And we can fuss and complain about it all we want, but how can we take what's here and utilize it to our advantage? So that's all I'm saying.
And you best believe there will be a mastermind for that particular.
Right.
Look, discerning,
and thank you.
and we're not closing it down at all. We just know the wisdom And thank you, Sister Tassili.
I'll be right back.
And everybody that's here that makes up the space. This is how our mastermind works.